Hi ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I did want to do a video and it's just been on my mind to do it today. And I have been putzing around doing some fun videos earlier in the day. I just wanted to do something that is more serious. I saw on YouTube that there have been some videos about the Medtronic insulin pump. And the only reason why I'm doing a video about that is because actually, and many of you do not know this, I am the proud wearer of a Medtronic Minimed, insulin pump. I do have the latest insulin pump that goes along with the Enlite sensors, and I do wear that. And I actually am going to show it to you. So here we go. This is what I do wear. There's my Enlite sensor, and then back here, I'm just trying out some different spots, is my infusion set. Most people don't know that I wear this. This thing is actually very discreet, very quiet, unless I need to do something. Then it'll make sounds. Or sometimes if I'm going to be in a meeting at work, I will set this thing to vibrate so that it'll vibrate and not be so disruptive. What I have on the back of here right now is actually just a clip. I do have a holster that it came with. Usually when you get these, you have a selection of colors. This is my second purple one. Purple is my favorite color. But I do really like it. It has a lot of features on it. It has an auto stop feature. It also has one button I'm touching right here is the bolus wizard, and that's what us diabetics would need if we're going to eat or drink something that has sugar in it, or just eat or drink a snack, or a meal or whatever, because our bodies do not make insulin. I wear one because my body does not make insulin anymore. My pancreas doesn't work. That's what that means when you're a type 1 diabetic, is your pancreas doesn't work. You're not resistant to the insulin, but your body doesn't make any. So I get a continuous dose of insulin through this lovely infusion set, through this machine. It also has some warnings on it to warn me, like if my blood sugars are getting too low. It'll get to a point where if I don't address it, it will stop the pump altogether until it is addressed, which is really good, because if you're the type of person that if you're all alone and let's say you're passed out somewhere, you're not going to be able to stop your pump, so the pump will stop itself. Another great feature with this pump is that you can set it to pretty much act like a pancreas. It will give you a different doses of insulin. Like you get a continuous all the time. I get a continuous rate of insulin all the time. And then when I need to eat or something, then I will set this thing to bolus myself. I've been on this pump, this Medtronic brand of pump, since I started on the pump about 6 years ago. My daughter is almost 6 now, and I started on it about 2 months after she was born. So about 5.5, 6 years I've been on it, and I actually love it. The only catch too with having an insulin pump, many people think, oh, I'm a non-compliant diabetic because I don't like needles, blah, say, skippy. There are needles involved in both using the insulin pump as well as the Enlite sensor. Both are pretty small needles, but the other catch to this is that you have to be very compliant with insulin syringes and vials for at least 30 days for most insurances to even think about trying to get one of these, because just because you have this lovely machine, this lovely piece of technology, breakthrough in diabetes management, there are times when if this thing breaks or if the body on it cracks. Like there's been a couple of times that I've had some of these and I haven't dropped them. I don't know why they cracked, but this is supposed to be made out of the same material as motorcycle helmets, so it really should not crack. But if you notice any cracks in the body of it, you do want to call Medtronic and request a new one. Then what they will do is they will send you a replacement pump, and you send the old one back, and bye-bye, you never see it again. You keep the pump that they sent you. But for 24 hours while you're waiting for your new pump, you have to go back to vials and syringes or pin needles and pins, whatever it is you were using before, usually is what you go back to. So if you don't like sticking yourself, to get shots, you better get comfortable with it. Otherwise, you will not be getting one of these, because if you're not going to be compliant with the old school way, you're not going to be compliant with the new school way. And this is very serious. You can actually live your life with diabetes for a very, very long time and not have it take anything from you. I mean, the only time I ever take this thing off is when I shower, or if I go swimming, or something involving me being immersed in water, or like bathing and stuff like that. I'll take it off for that, just for a brief period of time. But you have to be very compliant in order to even remotely think about your doctor even wanting to write for one of these for you. I love mine. It's great. It works well for me. Over time, I've learned with diabetes and having the pump what works and what doesn't work for me. My A1Cs have been between 5 and 6 since I've been on it. Even before I've been on it, have always been between 5 and 6. And also with the Enlite sensor, it can tell me when I'm getting ready to get high. Maybe I want to take my blood sugar. And by the way, just because you're on the continuous glucose monitor with the Enlite sensors doesn't mean that you get out of taking your blood sugars. You have to calibrate this thing by taking your blood sugars. You still have to take your blood sugars before your meals, things like that, because sometimes this thing can get a little off for whatever reason. And if it is off, you don't want to bolus yourself or treat yourself for what you think is a high or think is a low, and really the machine is off. So you still don't necessarily get away from needles, just that with the pump itself, you get away from having to stick yourself in your arm, your abdomen, your thigh, wherever you like to stick yourself. You get away from doing that 4 to 6 times a day. You're really sticking your fingers for your blood sugar 4 to 6 times a day. But the sensor lasts for 6 days. I can keep this on through 2 infusion set changes. Infusion sets do have a small needle involved, and both the sensor as well as the infusion set both have introducers, so it's a quick, process in and out. But you still have to do it. And so the sensor's every 6 days. I stick myself for that, and then for the infusion set, this little line thingy here, you are sticking yourself. I do it every 3 days. And sometimes another instance where you would use vials and syringes is if you were to get sick or be on steroids or something that caused your blood sugars to be so high and you max out on your pump, you're going to have to stick yourself to manage your diabetes. So that's why it's very important to get comfortable with the old school way first before you try to get this puppy here, because this is a lot more responsibility than what people think it is. But if you're responsible and you're already managing your diabetes well, you should not have a problem with this at all. There's also different ways of wearing this, which I'll do in another video, show you guys some other ways that I wear it. Sometimes I wear it on my hip, a lot of times it's under my shirt. There's other ways of hiding it and disguising it, whatever floats your boat, but I can show you guys some ways in another video. I know you guys are used to seeing me do a lot of fun nail videos and DIYs and fun stuff, but this is something that I did want to address because I do wear this every day of my life, and will wear one every day of my life until the end of time. So I love it. My doctors recommend this brand all the time. There's some other brands out there. Best option is to discuss with your doctor and your diabetes educator which brand is the best for you, but I do know that a lot of diabetics use this pump and use the sensor as well, and they like it. The only catch with the sensor is that you have to be compliant with the pump first before you can, and you have to have some reasons and talk it over with your doctor and your diabetes educator, some reasons why you would actually need to have the sensor. I have the sensor because there are a lot of times that I do not feel myself when I'm low, and I'm kind of desensitized to it. So I could be running around in the 50s or 60s and not feel it at all until I get even lower, and then I'm feeling like crumbs. So I do have the sensor on board here, and that's what that little martini glass is with the minus the little bottom to it. That's what that is. It has a light on it. It has you can turn the volumes up and down. You navigate through the screens using these 3 buttons, and you learn all of this. When you do get your pump, you will learn all of this lovely pump education through your diabetes educator, or your Medtronic representative will teach you things as well. Other than that, diabetes is very manageable, and I have been a type 1 diabetic since 2008. Um, I've managed well. I've always, like I said, maintained a A1C of 5 or a 6, which is wonderful. And the A1Cs, you always want to get those measured at least every 3 to 6 months, whatever your doctor recommends for you, because it tells what you have been doing and how well you've been managing your diabetes, and if things need to be tweaked or not over the last 3 months. So definitely always follow up with your doctor, and if you are interested in discussing this further, definitely leave comments below. Also like the video as well as subscribe for this and other fun videos. Until next time, smooches and take care of yourself.